this opening from OG Goosebumps goes so fucking hard. I used to be horrified of this theme. I wanted to start out with that just a little bit. First 20 seconds, because, you know, copyright exists. So, I wanted to make this video. I know my experience seems a little out there in comparison to previous episodes of my experience thing I got going on, right? In terms of it not being a video game, and it's about episodes of something instead of like, you know, like actually being about something, you know what I mean? So, what's up, Ouija? How you doing? So, before we start today's episode, I wanted to talk about my history with Slappy, you know, and how I even got introduced to Slappy. How did me and my brother find out about Goosebumps, so on and so forth. So, since I never really got to talk about this little bit of my life, right? So, how me and Louie found out, I swear to God, your hair is immune to not stop, bro. But anyways, so me and Louie were like little ass kids, and I don't remember exactly, like, no word for word, but like all I can go off is like my memory. And my memory is basically telling me like Louie was like get me hyped up about it, and basically like me and Louie would read the books of Goosebumps. And oh, what's up, Lucas? What's up, Jay Bro? How you guys doing? Yeah, we would read the books of Goosebumps a little bit. Yes, your boy could read. Okay, this is before, you know, I was really, I cut my hair. It was in the last vlog I did that I showed it off for the first time. But well, not the very first time, but the first time that I got it freshly cut. So me and my brother were watching the Goosebumps books, and we had no idea. We had no idea that there was a TV show about it. And, you know, one night we just found the Night of the Living Dummy 1, I think 1, 2, and 3. But I could be mistaken. It could be 2 programs of Night of the Living Dummy 2. But we found Night of the Living Dummy 2. We found Night of the Living Dummy 3 and Bride of the Living Dummy. And we watched them when we were kids, and we became not obsessed, but we became memorized by Slappy, because out of all the characters in Goosebumps to me and Louie, I don't know about Louie, but I could say for this myself, I felt like when I was watching these episodes, I was getting more and more entranced, or like, dude, Slappy is actually fucking freaky, unlike like Chucky or something, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, it is a kid show, so there's not really gonna be like any murdering or marking, you know, like that in this type of show. But I always felt like this Slappy was always creepier than Chucky. In some cases, not every case, but in some cases. And because we just watched these episodes growing up, you know, we would go back to them like every so often, and would our opinions change? Not really, because nostalgia is strong as fuck, but today I think they actually finally changed, and I wanted to make, you know, a video kind of representing that. So let's start with Night of the Living Dummy 2. Alright, so I'm not gonna go like word by word with this, but we are gonna watch a little bit of this together. So basically, Night of the Living Dummy 2, right? From this one shot, you can, well, not kind of tell, but you can sort of see how it's all going to be all about. It's basically this family. They are living a nice life. So, I don't know what time zone they're in, but it's kind of before. Did you get a fade type shit? I wouldn't consider a fade. My dad always does this haircut all the time for me. So, I just consider it the huge. Every time I get a haircut. But, yeah, as you can see, this family is just being a normal family from way back in the day when, before the 1900s, and it's a whole thing, right? And again, I'm not trying to get, no way, Anthroplex got a release trailer? Are you fucking kidding me? But, I gotta see that. Yeah, this little kid's a dickhead, filming all of his family members in secret. That's kind of dickish energy. But basically, like this episode is all about this family, and they interact with Slappy, and basically the whole episode is all about this family. They do their usual family stuff. Slappy comes into their lives. Little girl here says the magic words, Carino, whatever bullshit, to bring the nigga to life. And then throughout most of the episode, and I mean most of the episode, Slappy is legit just fucking with these kids. Slappy is getting her in trouble 24/7 because the family just suddenly doesn't believe her. All the time. She gets blamed for literally the entire episode. And I remember watching this back then. I didn't think of this too much, but like now that I'm watching it as a 22-year-old, I'm starting to see like the issues with this episode. So for example, right, since she gets blamed for everything, right, it's like the parents don't believe her on anything. You know what I mean? They don't want to take her advice. Not even her own siblings want to take her advice. Even they blame her, right, for everything Slappy does. And pretty much throughout most of the episode, Slappy is caught doing things to damage the other family's property or things and so on, pissing them off, getting them all riled up, pretty much. And I love this episode, but it's like, when I go back and I watch this now, it is so different in comparison to back then. Like, there were so many opportunities. If this show was way more mature rated, and I know IRL, the people who worked on this show had to find a lot of loopholes to work around a lot of these creatures that, Goosebumps had to deal with, because this is a kid's show, so they can't really do anything too crazy, and I get that. But at the same time, I kept watching Night of Living Dummy 2. And I could not help but, like, just think about all the times Slappy throughout this whole 21-minute flick. What's up, Date Veo? And Derek Deo, how you guys doing? I couldn't help but just think about how many times Slappy could have murked the entire family, or the entire family could have murked him. Like, and what I mean by murk, as in, like, get the job done. You know what I mean? Like, that some of these guys. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I remember, I'm talking about the OG episodes of Goosebumps. So I'm talking about, like, Night of Living Dummy 2, Night of Living Dummy 3, Bride of Living Dummy from OG Goosebumps way back in the 1980s. Not modern day Goosebumps for anyone. Do you know me? Sukana Tyson? Do I know you, though? Maybe, maybe not. That's a mystery. But yeah, like, I remember this episode was just pissing me off because, like, it was pissing me off, but, like, it was kind of funny at the same time. I'm Roman Sukuna.
Amy, if I catch you in my room again, you're toast. Got it? I was just trying it on. It didn't hurt your dumb sweater. We'll just stay out. Now go to bed. Don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Come on. Mom says so. That's weird.
By the way, can I just talk about this version of Slappy? There are so many variants of... Let me get a better shot. Let me get a better shot of Slappy real quick. I have to talk about this because I always found this...
Look, Dennis.
Oh yeah, Dennis. Dennis was his fucking name, not Goofy. I was trying to think of his name when watching all this stuff last night. But let me just... Oh, whoops. Let me just get a shot of him.
Night, Slappy. Good night, Dennis.
Right? I remember it's scary and funny at the same time. It is scary and funny at the same time, each of these episodes. Right? Damn, he shoved my nigga Dennis. Look at Dennis, bro. He shoved that man. I don't want to get too much of this episode on, like, film. But basically what Slappy goes and does is he basically wakes up in the middle of the night and basically gets Sarah in trouble for the painting and so on and so forth. That's a perfect shot of Slappy, by the way. That's not blood, it's red paint, by the way. I just want to say, this version of Slappy, with the voice, by the way. By the way, dude who actually voiced Slappy in this show, actually voices Wolverine from the old X-Men 97's cartoon, and he's still voicing him today, so he's still around. So for anyone that is interested in his voice acting career, but anyways, this version of Slappy that you guys just saw, like, is my favorite version of Slappy by far, bar none. And it's because of everything he does in these episodes by fucking around with the kids, having the iconic voice. Like, Carl's Dodd, I think it was Carl's Dodd, is nightmare fuel at best, see? But, like, this version of Slappy, because Slappy has, like, 20, 30 different variants. When you look up Slappy online, I'm not joking, the variant that I'm talking about is one of the older variants of Slappy. It's almost like the Broly situation, if not worse, because he has 20 different designs, or like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different designs, and they're still redesigning this guy in 2023 to this day. And then each of the books of Slappy, this is a fun fact, are also like evolving to each version of Slappy. Like they're molding into each different version of Slappy. So it's not even just one Slappy, it's like multiple different Slappies. Like, as R.L. Stine is writing these, you know, he's going by the original, and then, you know, he's also going by, like, the live-action versions and variants to make them act more similar to that. It's a whole thing with Slappy, dude. It's crazy. But this motherfucker is a menace, bro, in later parts of the episode. Not only getting her in trouble 24/7, especially with the red paint incident, but here's another one, right? This motherfucker, you guys gotta see this. He roasts the whole family. Look at this. Look at this shit. Even though these were PG ass roasts, I still was like, what the
Hey there, family. Nice to see you.
This is Sarah doing his voice.
How do you like being part of the Kramer family so far? It's fantastic, but then my last family was a pine tree. So, what did you think of Dad's song?
That was your dad? Well, what a relief. I thought the cat got stuck in the dishwasher.
That's not very nice.
Slappy.
And how about that mother of yours? She went to a store and asked the clerk if he had anything her size, and he told her to try the freight elevator.
But it's not me, it's him. Oh, right, the dummy made me do it.
I wouldn't laugh. You're such a booger brain. You tried to grow an eggplant by burying a chicken.
Hey, cut it out. Yeah, cut it out.
You call yourself an artist? Why don't you give up brushes and try using a roller?
Is this supposed to be funny? No, I can't stop him. Help me get him off.
Easy on the threads.
I can. Hey, what's coming into you?
Guys, come on. Get up.
I'm not saying those things.
I can see the terror in their eyes. You know, it's like, this is one of the things that pissed me off about Night of the Living Dummy 2, is Slappy was doing his voice, his normal voice. By the way, that's his voice, by the way, and his voice is perfection here, but even in his first appearance, it's awesome, it's great. This moment right here, where the whole family is hearing Sarah do her impression, literally right in front of them. Sarah is doing her Slappy impression, and then suddenly her voice changes from what she just did to a whole ass dude voice. And then suddenly, she's the fucking problem. Like, you're telling me, you guys, and it looks like this family does plays with the whole family every other week. And you're telling me that you can't tell between your daughter's voice and a fucking grown-ass man voice, bro? Really? How did Slappy not get caught here? Like, that was, like, my first thought that went in my head. I'm like, how did the family just think it was her? Because literally after this, they blame her for what they did. And they tell her to go to her goddamn room for what she did. And I'm sitting there like, seriously? Really? Really? No, seriously. Really? You're not right. You are not fucking right, bro. That's not cool. To me, that's not cool. Sheesh. Dude, sheesh indeed, Luigi. Sheesh indeed. Yeah, I'm a Marvel fan, yes. Hey, being a Marvel fan is pretty dope. you know, Wolverine's pretty sick. But, excuse me, just, I couldn't believe it watching this shit again after all this time. And then just seeing how bullshit, like, the family treats her this whole episode. It is kind of annoying. And then she has to go. She's like, damn, I gotta go. Look at me. They gotta have earpods in their ears on max volume playing the microwave ASMR to not be able to hear it. For rock. Because it's clear as day. And then this incident with the little girl was kind of snooping in her stuff.
Amy, stop it. I didn't say it. He did. He's funny. Ow, hey, you won't let me go.
And then Amy gets blamed for Slappy pulling on this girl's hand. Look at this. How is the family, again, even in this shot, not barging in, wondering what the fuck? And by the way, they get in there just as Slappy stops. Or not just as Slappy stops, like Slappy sees them. And then this shit happens.
Stay away from her.
And then she loses a whole ass friend because of Slappy, bro. Look what Slappy's doing to her.
No. What? You're such a liar. A big fat liar. I don't ever want to see you again. Not ever.
I guess you guys weren't great friends because I remember when I saw this bit, I was like, bro, how are you going to immediately assume it was her? When, oh my god, these people don't know what playing a dummy is all about because you can't control their arms or their legs. That's one of the biggest giveaways about those old-ass dummies from way back when, right? All you control is their head movements and their mouth, right? You can't control their arms or their legs. So, with my knowledge, right, on dummies, and then seeing that, I would have been like, hey, yo, what the fuck actually is going on? This shit is haunted. I would have figured out. And the thing is, throughout most of this episode, she brings him around still, even though no one believes her. It's like, bro, I would have thrown this motherfucker out, like, in 5 minutes flat. I would have said the first thing that Slappy would have done, and I recognized it, and he's like, I would have taken that motherfucker out. I would have slammed his head on the fucking thing. I would have taken his ass far the fuck away. I would not even have him involved because the shit he tries to pull. But clearly, she was not really a good friend for Sarah or whatever the fuck. Or Amy. I keep saying Sarah because I think the other one is Sarah. Yeah, and then look at this motherfucker just smiling like, oh, I'm about to get these guys. Like, type beat. It's like, no, bro. What? I'm sorry, bro. And then they all think she's crazy. And then it's a whole thing. They have a whole brawl dinner and so on. Actually, she does get rid of him here and throws him into a sewer line. Throws him in a whole sewer. His bitch ass comes back from that sewer.
Wasn't very nice of you to duck me in the sewer like that.
What do you want?
Don't you get it yet? You can't get rid of
What
me.
are you talking about?
Don't you remember, Amy? You spoke the words. Peru, Marie, or Dangaloma.
Molyneux Carano?
You and I are one now. Inseparable. You are my slave.
No, I'm not gonna be your slave.
Let's be real. I wouldn't immediately think it's a fucking demon Satan V3.
Family thinks you're crazy. We've seen that.
I mean, I wouldn't probably think of it either, but I definitely would have gotten rid of it as soon as I fucking heard this motherfucker can speak. He can walk, he can move his head on his own, and so on and so forth. I would have gotten rid of him right then and there, bro. I'd be afraid, but like, I'd be like, nope, I'm gonna get rid of this thing. But obviously, they had to go on for 20 minutes, so I get it. And then they had a whole fight with the sisters. Oh my god, no. Yeah, look at this moment here.
Hey, Sarah. Wanna play?
Then they scream. Jacob asks what's going on, and then they run around looking like idiots throughout the episode. And then Slappy still teases them. And Slappy was about to get him, actually, because she couldn't reach the weapon.
He belongs to me.
Right?
You're mine, Amy. You're mine.
Basically, Slappy's like, you're mine, Amy, because this whole thing is like wanting to be... And then as soon as Slappy goes out like this, I thought it was one of the weirdest ways, because this is the thing about Night of the Living Dummy, and I'm going to say this about all the movies, is the way they defeat Slappy in each of these. Like you just saw, Dennis, the other dummy, basically waited this whole time for Slappy to get snuck up on, or to sneak up on Slappy and finish the job, right? And it's like, when did Slappy give him life at the end of this episode? Like, there was no indication that Dennis was alive this whole time. He was just a normal-ass fucking dummy. Right? Until he just, he shoved Slappy, which I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, why do they gotta create these bullshit-ass ways Slappy went out? Because in this one, clearly both Amy and her sister clearly weren't enough to deal with him. And it's like, he was gonna win, but it's like, he has to go out in these weird ways. And I get it, to kind of have the episode end, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of BS how the way he gotta go, like, the way he goes out. And this part freaked me out. Here, we see his aura go out, and he's done. And they're like,
What was that?
What's going on here?
family just gets back.
Hey, man, was telling the truth. Slappy was after us. Then he turned on the lights. And Jen saved us.
What? Slow down. Yeah. What's going on? What'd I do?
If you didn't do it, then who?
Look at this shit.
It's good to be back in the family again.
First of all, bro, keep in mind, they had Dennis this entire fucking time in their entire lives, and now he's suddenly talking and speaking to them like a human. Good fucking bye, because Satan somehow possessed this house. You know what I mean? I'm fucking dipping. I'm getting my shit. I'm gone. But it's like they kind of owe their lives to fucking Dennis now, because I mean, Dennis just saved them from Slappy. And here's like my thoughts on this episode. This was a good episode to watch, but like I couldn't help but again find like my reasonings to kind of like think of this as kind of like, wow, there were so many different ways Slappy could have won this, or wow, there was some ways the family actually could have taken out Slappy. And I know they didn't know Slappy was real. You know, it's the real world. That stuff doesn't actually happen. But it's like, there's so many times where it could have went this way or that way, and it's like it could have ended so much earlier than 21 minutes spot on. You know what I mean? So it's like, I see that shit, and it's kind of like, that bothers me a little bit. And out of 10, I think I might rate this like maybe a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the worst thing on planet Earth, but it wasn't like the best thing. But I think the next one will change your mind, because I think this one was like my favorite out of all of them, right? Was the third one. The third one and the next one, and I watched this all last night. So this is about Night of the Living Dummy 3, alright? So basically, Dad goes upstairs. She's fucking freaked out. She's about to go and check it out, because she's fucking freaked out. She hears a lot of noise. Her dad and everyone here are fucking pranksters, okay? And dummy enthusiasts. They love, their dad loves dummies.
I heard some bumping in the hallway. Is that you?
Right? And I know it's kind of copyright, so I gotta like swoosh around here. But basically, the whole plot of this one, I could sum it up in like 2 minutes flat. This family are pranksters and dummy enthusiasts, right? So they're used to having dummies around, and they love pulling pranks on each other all the time. The dad does, mom accepts it, sister accepts it, little bro accepts it, and then basically their whole family has to deal with, or not the whole family, but brother and sister mainly, because the family, you know, well, also mom and dad have to deal with them for a while. But basically, Zane comes in, their cousin, and kind of fucks with everything, essentially. And, well, not really fucks with everything, but, like, pseudo fucks with everything. Like, throughout most of the flick, it's Zane the one pulling the strings with some of the dummies in the episode and so on and so forth. You could get out your American's M16 M9mm caliber ultra laser point accessory attached for rock and about to murk, cause Slappy ain't no play. Off topic, but some Marvel's 90 theme songs were fire. I bet. I haven't watched the show, so like I can't really say anything, but anyways, as I was saying, that's what we're dealing with like this whole episode essentially. Is Slappy comes into their lives, they say the line like Carano, you know, the line. And then Slappy's like, oh shit, they said the line and I'm left alone? Hold on, bro, let me read you on my face real quick. Look, check it. Alright, and then basically throughout the whole episode, Zane, I'm gonna tell y'all, bro, if you guys watch this on your own time, Zane is such a bitch. Like, I gotta tell y'all why. Cause so Zane, the character of Zane in this, he is the worst. He's not only a coward, but he's very sensitive, right? And he can't take a joke. Because last time Zane came over, this before the events of everything, brother and sister played a prank on him about moving his bed out to where all the cows are because they're pretty country folk, right? And in the middle of like a cow farm. And he woke up right next to a cow and he was afraid. And ever since then, you know, Zane kind of wanted to get revenge on brother and sister. So also throughout most of this episode as a side plot point, Zane basically sets up the dummies around the house and causes a lot of mischief for brother and sister. And then brother and sister, since the parents can't believe their children in these shows, they get blamed for that shit. And they have to do a bunch of chores and so on and so on. So Slappy doesn't really get to do too much in this one in comparison to the last one. But he does pull off some crazy shit. Like some of the shit that like in the kitchen and then so on later in this one. But anyways, back to Zane, right? I'm sorry, I got a little off topic because it relates to everything, okay? So that's the way I kind of... I say Zane's a bitch because not only he's sensitive, but, like, he's sensitive about every little thing, bro. You can't even joke with this nigga, practically. Like, you can't even... You know those jokes that you and your friends would go on about each other just out of nowhere? Like, little jokes like, hey, bro, at least I don't look like Lil Bill, or... Hey, bro, at least I don't look like Curious George. Hey, bro, you know, like little jabs, right? Like, he's going to take that shit so seriously and then get offended by it. That's the type of energy Zane was pretty much on this whole episode. Or almost this whole episode. And I remember even when me and Louie were little kids, we always hated Zane. I remember when we watched this, we were like, oh my god, Zane's a bitch, bro. I know, bro. And we would go back and forth on how, like, Zane is so sensitive and shit. And nowadays, I kind of felt for Zane a little bit by being sensitive and shit, because I know there's a lot of sensitive people now. He kind of describes people on Twitter all day long. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. That's a jab. That's a jab probably shouldn't have done, but he's a photographer and everything, and he's scared of dummies, so this is even worse. This moment pissed me off, okay? So not only they got blamed for earlier stuff with Zane, or before Zane even came in, I want to show y'all this moment. That joke was shit. Those jokes were fine back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, but nowadays these jokes are considered offensive. Yeah, on God. So, another thing, right, is basically one of the worst moments in this was Zane, the dad was trying to get Zane to like dummies. And by getting to conquer his fear of the dummies, basically, the dad sat Zane down and was doing impressions the whole time with Zane. And Zane was kind of laughing, but there was a moment where Zane got kicked in the foot, which I'm going to show y'all. And this shit kind of pseudo pissed me off a little bit.
Very good, huh? I didn't see your lips move or anything.
Right? This is the moment right here.
Quizzing has been going on for
See, look.
hundreds of years.
He's trying to tell Zane, teach him that dummies aren't actually scary. Look at this shit.
Okay? And you have to learn how to control all the muscles in your mouth.
That's right. And you also have to learn new ways to make sounds.
Which just goes to show you.
There's nothing scary about a dummy.
Okay, dinner's ready. What would
I kind of wish. Oh, and this pissed me off. This scene right here. Oh, right there. Right there. This pissed me off, right?
Scary about a dummy.
Okay, dinner's ready. What would everyone like to drink? Well, what do we have?
Look at this. Look at this.
He kicked me.
Who kicked you?
The dummy kicked me.
I'm saying that's just not possible.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
I want to tell you why this moment bothers me so much when I was watching this, because the brother and the daughter were getting blamed for shit Slappy did, right? Like the last one, like the last episode we just talked about. But what's even worse is now the dad is getting blamed for something Slappy did. And he is a dummy enthusiast. Okay, he got his whole family into the whole thing. He loved dummies since he was a kid, right? And he knows how to control everything about him. He knows everything about him, right? So after Slappy kicked Zane, right? He's like, what the fuck happened, right? I didn't control him to kick him. If you guys remember me talking about it a little bit ago, when you control a dummy, you can't really control their arms. You can't control their arms. You can't control their legs. You can only control their head, them turning, and their mouth movements. And their eyes and stuff. You can only control what's up here on the face, right? You're telling me, as someone who is a dummy enthusiast, just the doll randomly in your hand, by the way, so you can feel when it's moving, that it kicked Zane, right? And you're like, oh, I didn't do it. Bro, why didn't you just believe the kids right then and there, bro? I'm sorry, but, like, if the dad's getting blamed, and then the mom gets on the dad, like, what the fuck did you do, honey? What did you do to Zane? You know he's sensitive, and it's like, honey, I didn't do anything. This is bullshit. I'm getting blamed for something I didn't do, and I'm like, just like the fucking kids. So now you know how the kids feel. Dad of this episode. Right?
I hate this place. Zane, wait.
Yeah, see, Zane is just a bitch, a little bit.
Just forget about these dummies.
Oh, and then this is ultimate bullshit. Look at this.
Very much.
I want you to watch this.
We really
So you guys see the whole family in the room, right? Honey, shut up and go. Yo, bro, no, bro.
leave.
This is actual true bullshit. If you guys didn't think the kick was BS, watch this. So the entire family is in this room talking, right? The mother, the father did not take eyes off of them for a single second,
Come on.
practically, right? Only a minute. They all leave together, and then when they all enter, look at this. Slappy fucked over the entire dinner, right? But look at this stupid shit. Look what the parents do. Turn around and blame all three of these kids. When they were in the other room, all of them were in the other room fucking talking. This one made me get up and not walk around, but this one made me talk to Louie yesterday about this shit. And I'm not joking about that. I legit was like, dude, this moment pisses me off so much. Because of the simple fucking fact that the kids got blamed here when they had they didn't ask to go to the bathroom. And literally dinner was ready in the middle of their conversation in the other room. The only person that was able to move that quick, or the only person that was in that kitchen, was the mom. This part of the episode made no sense to me. And the fact that the kids get blamed for this moment really struck a nerve and was like, that's bullshit. This whole entire moment is BS. And I remember I hated this moment, genuinely, because she blamed them. And they're like, we didn't do it. Oh, yeah, and the roast ended up being a clown dummy, right? And then the dad saying, no camp, pretty much. And they're like, fuck, no camp. And then, like, they basically want to try to find the culprit. It ended up being Zane for half of it, like I said. Because they fucked with Zane back then, so Zane wanted to fuck with them back. Right? Yes, I did get a haircut. Owen. Right? And then they're like, wait a minute. You know, Owens ended up got in trouble, which is cool because they got the karma back, so. He's doing the chores, you know, they're playing games and stuff. The family went out to go have a night of fun. And then they see this shit. They're like, wait a minute. They're figuring out that, wait a minute, we have something in our house because they fit a whole dummy in a water tank. I don't know how the fuck they did that. But this is one of the freakiest moments, right? In the entire episode. Look at this when they're looking at this.
You can't fit anything that huge inside this bottle. It's impossible. Where did he come from?
So as they were talking, he ran up and sat down perfectly still like that. Like, I'm a pimp. I'm a G. And then they're all discovering that Slappy's real and so on and so forth. And then, you know, after Zane's like, hey, why Slappy a bitch? And Slappy's like, hey, yo, nah, cuz. Kicks the shit out of him. Say, please. This was easily one of the freakiest things about Slappy, because in the old version of Slappy, right, basically, this nigga went from, and for obvious reasons, it's obviously a dude in a suit, you know, he had to be a dude in a suit back then, but this is why Slappy was, like, never really shown walking around too much or having too many shots, because obviously due to budget, but someone dressed up as Slappy in this moment, right, and chased the kids. But little did they know that they didn't get Slappy's height right. And it looked like Slappy grew taller to almost Jacob height right here in this shot. And because of that, fans speculated for eons, does Slappy grow taller with each incarnation of the character? What is going on here? And me and Louie actually looked this up because this was one of our biggest mysteries as kids. This is what freaked us out about Slappy. Not only his voice and what he did in the episodes, but him growing in Night of the Living Dummy 3. And it's like, does he grow even bigger in the next one? And people actually had Reddit posts about this, like in terms of Slappy growing and stuff like that. Like, it was like, dude, that genuinely freaked me out. I remember, like, if the other shit didn't freak you out, Slappy being almost as tall as a fucking child, that is intimidating. Especially someone that looks like they're in their teenage years. Not even like a little kid, it's a teenage years. And Slappy's almost as big as them. He's like, if you look at this shot real quick, right? He's like almost like 4'10" some shit. It's wild. Or it looks like he's like 4, maybe 5'2". And it's like 5'2". God fucking damn. Look at that. He's almost as big as them. Look at this. He's a fucking menace. Oh my god, this is the weird part where basically Slappy gets chained down a little bit, so on, so on. Which we're gonna skip this part. They get his bitch out to the box, throw him in, think it's over, right? And then they kind of just sleep talk, and then Slappy's back. This is a funny ass moment though, right? She's chilling. They're like, Slappy's dead. I can end the night. This is straight peeking, right? Look at this shit. This guy is a fucking menace, bro. Hey, at least he brought a bat, bro.
You're joking. Please tell me you're joking.
Right? And then they're like, wait a minute, Zane bitch ass, right? So they go to his room, they try to figure him out, and then look what Slappy does. This is easily one of the scariest things I saw in this Goosebumps episode because literally they could have played it off like you'll see. So he puts this goo shit in his mouth or his nose. It enters his system. Right? And they try to barge in. Then they don't see Zane in there, so he took Zane. Then look at this shit. Slappy's showing us his friends. Met the bodyguard, a.k.a. Rocky, you know, basically the dad's favorite dummy. So on and so forth. Slappy can bring dummies and anything he touches to life. So basically, if you're a human, he can turn you into a dummy. And if you're a dummy, he can bring you to life. So that's the type of beat Slappy's on in this.
What have you done to Zane?
See for yourself.
I love that laugh, dude. It's fucking menacing as shit. And then you see this. There goes anything Night of the Living Dummy 2 did in terms of Slappy right there. This is already a massive improvement. Not only in this one, he's bringing other dummies to life, but he also has the ability to turn them into a dummy. I thought this was one of the scariest moments when I rewatched this, because I was like, that is genuinely horrifying. Is Zane actually fucking, you know, dead? Because who can live like a dummy? You know what I mean? Who can do that, even? And then Slappy later on has like a little proposal of like, hey, you know what? If you tell anybody about us, I'll turn your bitch asses into dummies too. And then y'all will be over. Done. History. You know, this little laugh or something like that, right? But I remember rewatching this, even seeing as a kid, I was freaked the fuck out, man. I was like, no way.
Loosen up, Zane. Don't look so wooden. Get it? Wooden!
What a menace, bro. Having Zane be turned into that, they try to figure out a way to beat him. Like, try to say his shit reverse. They try to get the chest, and they're like, oh, fuck, chest ain't there. And then they deal with the whole thing, or Slappy corners the fuckers, or they try to get the card. What is it? Slappy actually was so close to getting Jacob turned into a dummy before she actually shoved him.
Are you okay?
Which was cool. I'm not even gonna lie. But anyway, so basically, the end of this episode, I'm gonna show y'all basically how this goes down. Watch this. So Rocky is basically, the sister here is basically telling the other dummy, Rocky, that you've been in our family for generations, so on and so forth. Dad always loved you. We always cared about you. We always treated you right, so on and so forth. Slappy just only cares about you as a slave. And they go back and forth. And then Rocky's like, you know what? Type beat, y'all family right. And basically murks Slappy. Right? Right? And basically gets in a little scruffle with Slappy, which is kind of funny. So basically, if you think about it,
I could use some help here. Wake up.
yeah, and they fight. It's kind of looking like two midgets fighting each other. But look at this moment of death for Slappy right here.
Don't you get it? I'm invincible!
Look at this. That is karma in its fucking finest. Look at this. I want y'all to watch this. So he's on the ledge right here, just straight chilling like, oh, hell. You think you have the upper hand? I'm invincible. I don't know why he said I'm invincible when he's the one who got bodied by his own goon, by the way. And another thing I noticed about each of these Slappy movies or episodes that I'm watching, Slappy is usually depicted as weaker than his other opponents. Because if you look at Jack Black's version of Slappy when he played him in the Goosebumps movies and later incarnations of Slappy, right? Other than this one. Like every single person who tussles with Slappy always ends up getting folded. Slappy is the one always on the receiving end of the ass beating. He's never winning against anybody. Hand-to-hand combat, you know what I mean? Everyone else always does. It's always, I noticed that, it's always the opponent that always gets the upper hand on him. It's like, is it weight? Is it like Slappy doesn't know how to, like, fight for real. I mean, he was sort of fighting Rocky, but he still ended up losing that little tuffle that y'all just witnessed in the end anyway. So it's like, why even worry about possessing people if you can't even defend yourself? You know what I mean? I mean, it's probably hard to kind of even move as a dummy. But the fact Rock, let me tell you guys this. Rock hasn't even been alive, like, as long as Slappy has. And you're telling me he's able to body you? Someone that just woke up that same night and he was able to be like, "What's up, Slappy?" And fucking murk your bitch ass, like, real quick. But this is one of the most instant karma, oh, look, Alan moments you've ever seen in movie history or video or episode history. Look at this. This is such an Alan moment, and you guys can't even lie about this.
Don't you get it? I'm invincible!
Look at this iconic ironic thunder hitting Slappy. And then he's legit dead. And then, you know, Rocky goes back to sleep, and then everyone goes back to normal, and Zane and them never tell their parents about the experience, right? Yeah, I think Slappy isn't very mobile. He just makes up for it in plotting. Yeah, that's a good point, Dizzy Dragon. I think that's the case. But my thoughts on this episode throughout all of it, watching it now versus as a kid, I loved it when I was little. Me and Louie were already hooked on Slappy, rewatching Night of the Living Dummy 2, Night of the Living Dummy 3, Bride of the Living Dummy, but we're not there yet, but Night of the Living Dummy 2, peaking when we were little. Night of the Living Dummy 2, or 3 when we were peaking, you know, little was peaking. But I'm going to say I liked this one a little bit more than the second one, mainly due to, like, Slappy actually doing crazy shit, because in the second one, in the quote-unquote his first appearance, because Night of the Living Dummy 1 was never aired, it was never adopted because Night of the Living Dummy 1 was too dark for television, so they couldn't adapt it. But I bet nowadays they definitely could easily get away with that type of shit, just say M rating or something. But back then it was different, so that's why Night of the Living Dummy 1 never came out. So for anyone that's wondering, for the old show, why Night of the Living Dummy 2 is the first one, then 3 is the second one, that's why. But I like this one due to more characters, you know, more characters in the story. I like this one more because of the whole Rocky and Slappy fight incident. I also love that we also got more of Slappy's moveset, if you will, in this one in comparison to Night of the Living Dummy 2. Because, like I said, in Night of the Living Dummy 2, all Slappy did was fuck around and ruin Amy's life, practically, for that little bit. That's all he did. There was no manipulating, unlike in this one. There was craziness, but, like, it wasn't that crazy. And then Dennis, the dummy, not even Jacob, their brother, came in to save the fucking day. You know, in that one and 2. And again, that's another reason why 3 is so peak, is because we get to see him be able to turn human beings into dummies. We got to see him literally walk and run around and bully these fucking kids for a while and have fun. You know, his other shenanigans, and also bringing dummies to life. That's also another reason why Night of the Living Dummy 3 is that much better and a little bit more interesting. Sure, there's a lot of bits that did infuriate me with the family just blaming the kids 24/7, because that's kind of what, I don't know why, but Goosebumps kind of leaned in more onto that with these 2 episodes. When Slappy finally stood up and moved his crusty old wooden ass off the table, he became a fucking menace, like, right away. Like, I remember being scared of Slappy moving around, but that's my honest thoughts on this episode. Like, it's better than the second one, but, like, I have some issues with it, you know, in terms of Slappy not, I mean, Slappy he does do some shit, but there's a lot of periods, too, where he actually could have gotten Rocky, and they could have murked, you know, these kids, too. There was a lot of points where I felt like Slappy, if he wasn't playing around so much, he would have murked these kids. But anyways, that's more or less on that. Let's talk about the final Night of the Living Dummy episode. And yes, the final one, because Slappy didn't get too many episodes back in early Goosebumps. The OG Goosebumps from the 80s, they only adapted 2, 3, and Bride of the Living Dummy. And this one, I would argue is probably the best one for you to watch, the least cringy out of all of them to watch. Right? Oh, and by the way, there's a super cool intro. By the way, the intro, like I said in the beginning of this, is fucking dope, but that's not the point of this. This one was truly freaky. Because you got a fucking rundown dude walking back saying, I'm not shit in this life. Finds Slappy. Says his lines, and then look at this shit.
Hello, Jimmy. What's a nice boy like you doing in a place like this? What? Not what? Who? The name's Slappy, and I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Bro, straight menace energy. So basically, he goes to shows and performs for kids with Slappy.
Almost killed my Uncle Pinocchio.
This shit is probably pretty not funny today, but like it was funny back then.
This is an audience. Yeesh. For a minute there, I thought you were working at the zoo.
I don't know, but also rewatching these episodes kind of made me want to learn how to actually control a dummy like that. Like, I just want to like, I know this is kind of a little bit off topic from the episode itself, but I thought that like the people who actually still control these dummies in today's world are actually really talented, and I'm impressed that you can like actually control all the muscles in your mouth to even control the dummy. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to put up a character and do a voice for them, but it's another thing entirely making a dummy do a voice and all that. So it's actually really cool that people are actually able to do that and so on. I loved it. But anyways, this whole episode is basically Slappy falls in love. Like this was the craziest thing, right? So
They were hanging upside down in a fish market.
so he was doing his usual jokes, so on and so forth. And basically in this moment, he was so memorized by the doll. The episode makes you believe he was in love with the doll, but in actuality, I'm just kidding. But no, the doll, right? He was in love with the doll, and he spent a minute looking at her like, hey, yo, that's crazy. And basically, the girl, right, is talking about her doll 24/7 about, oh, if I lose her, she's going to do things to me. And this was one of the creepiest things in the whole episode to me. Was basically when, I'm trying to finish this quickly because it is 52 minutes. We're talking about Goosebumps. Look at this shit.
No, I won't do it. This is a partnership, remember? 50-50. Sick and tired of being treated like a slave all the time. But you are my slave, Jimmy. You are. And you aren't ever gonna be anything but. So let me give you some free advice. When old Slappy tells you to do something, you better do it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you or anything. I wasn't.
He basically, Jimmy also tries to hide the fact Slappy's actually alive and so on from other people, so other people don't get scared of him. But another thing about this episode, right, that was like crazy is that Jimmy also sent Slappy to them mainly because Slappy told him to. And this whole episode is basically about girl here, basically going through the events of Slappy stuff, right? And this episode was great because it showed that, I mean, I don't know, it didn't really do too much in terms of like the third one, show off Slappy's abilities until like the very end, I would say. Like, for example, this is probably one of the best lines in the whole thing. Whoops. When she sends Slappy back to Jimmy because Jimmy's like, this shit's a menace.
The girl who talked to you at the theater yesterday? You sent me your dummy. Hello?
What's all this?
Right? He talks about how crazy Slappy actually is, and I love this.
Are Slappy's rivals. He destroyed them.
You destroyed them all.
Wait a second. Are you telling me a dummy did all this?
Slappy is not a dummy. He's pure evil.
Couldn't you just destroy him?
You can't destroy the evil spirit within that dummy.
So instead you send him to me?
Don't you understand? Slappy forced me to write you that letter. Take that evil thing away. Get it out of here now.
Look, I've spent half of my babysitting savings to get...
Right? They talk about Slappy, little her and Marianne, the doll. I'm sorry. I just not freeze up, but like, I'm just like, I can't believe how all this shit went down when I watched it last night. So basically, Slappy's whole obsession in this one is he actually wants a wife. Deadass. He legit fell in love. He wants a wife. So he finds this family. Does his usual Slappy things by like torturing them and so on, well, not torturing them, but like kind of making them scared, making them run around the house, so on and so forth. Because I noticed these Slappy episodes kind of follow like a rotation type beat. And
I want my bride.
basically the whole episode is like Marianne, but I want to show you guys something here, right? The one new ability Slappy really shows, or one out of two new abilities Slappy shows here, is his ability to teleport. Yes, I am. So even in light, you can see. But, to answer your question, Tim, right? He is able to teleport. I remember seeing this for the first time. I immediately flipped out because Night of the Living Dummy 2 Slappy could not do this unless he could, and I just didn't know. Night of the Living Dummy 3 Slappy didn't bother doing this. He didn't bother teleporting around. He kind of walked around everywhere, but you can't tell me that he didn't teleport because he was literally behind them and they ran, and he literally showed up right in front of them. Like, he didn't run over and chase them to the steps and said, let's play this whole bit. He warped, my dude. He fucking warped. Right? They're horrified. They run over. They run away. I won't lie to you, like, the one thing that really does will probably annoy you in this episode is the sheer fact that the little girl talks about Marianne the entire episode. The entire episode, you're hearing her say, Marianne won't allow me to do this, Marianne won't allow me to do that. And just like the older sister character, you'll actually get fed up with it, but maybe fed up with it, you'll get fed up with it as early, maybe even earlier than her with the whole Marianne thing. But then as she gets tired of Marianne, she's like,
But enough of this dumb doll. Who are you calling dumb? I told you. She's alive too.
You the smarty pants. Tell her, Katie. Tell your big sister the truth.
She makes me do anything she wants. If I don't, she says she'll hurt Mom and Dad. I knew. And when she saw Slappy at the show, she fell in love with him.
And what Mary Ellen wants? Mary Ellen gets.
and basically they get cornered. And then Marianne is in love with Slappy, but it's kind of funny what this reveal does.
My beautiful bride. See? I even brought the ring.
That's my mom's ring.
I stole it for the special occasion. My marriage to the most perfect girl in the world.
And I love how this episode makes it play off like he wanted the doll.
But now I'm ready to be your bride.
What? You? I want you, you cheap bastard. I want her.
This,
You'll be my slave forever.
when Slappy said, I want the little girl to be my bride, I was like, this man gotta go. He's not only a menace, but he's also kind of a you know what? Well, I mean, Slappy isn't played by an actual human, but still. Well, he is played by a human. But the point is, right? Slappy is wild for that. He wants that real person energy, bro, in terms of wanting to marry it. Or her.
After all I've done for you, this is the things I get. You rot. Oh, piece of wood.
And basically, they get into a scrap, and again, and they fight, basically. And it's in slow motion because they didn't have the budget. Yeah, that's a Popeye's ad. That's in the episode, clearly. Right? And she's like, get off of me, you fucking witch, and so on and so forth, right? They get turned into saw blades because their fight ended up them falling on the blade. They end up, and by the way, this is Slappy's second new ability right here. The episode ends, they think Slappy's dead, but this was one of the freakiest moments in the entire thing, and they leave it off on this cliffhanger, which pisses me off, because it's like, what happened to this family after this?
Harrison?
Look at this. Basically, Slappy possessed the fat kid in the bathroom. So basically, Keaton, I think his name was Keaton. I can't remember what his name was. But he's in the whole episode, basically just there. But he gets locked in the bathroom the whole episode and did not get out. So he was just sitting there for hours because Slappy locked him in there. Fun fact. But the episode leaves us off with Slappy possessing a human body. And just said, how you guys gonna, what you guys gonna do now? And I remember for years after me and Louis first saw this conclusion, right, to Slappy's entire story, was he actually was able to possess a human. This is like, not only he was able to be in a ghost body, which is his second new thing, but a third new thing was possess people. Possess actual people, because in Night of the Living Dummy 3, he was able to turn people into dummies. Now he's able to fully possess people. So not only with each incarnation, he's getting stronger and stronger by being able to teleport, by being able to stay alive even in his create a ghostly manifestation of himself, and he's able to possess people. This version of Slappy is much stronger, like in terms of abilities and arsenal, than the other ones. And yet, I feel like it took him all this time just to win, because also the other doll was, I don't know what body she possessed. She just kind of went off somewhere, or she probably hid or ran or something. But we still don't know what happens to this family. Like, did Slappy actually win against this family? Did he actually, off-screen them? Like, and because of these type of endings, the possibilities are freaking endless, right? And for me, I remember that scene with Slappy possessing the kid with the big old eyes was easily one of the freakiest moments in the entire episode. But anyways, let's be done talking about it. Let's talk about my final thoughts and what I think about this whole trilogy of episodes, since they're all episodes. There's actually 4 episodes. Funny enough, Night of the Living Dummy 3 is the longest one because it's a 2 whole episode deal. But I forgot to mention that in the Night of the Living Dummy 3 section of this. But I thought this episode was good, but the Marion stuff was annoying. Slappy constantly just talking about his bride and kind of doing his usual. Was a little bit annoying too, to be honest, because it's kind of like, why are you doing the usual? Why aren't you just murking these people? Like, and I get it, again, it's a kid's show, so it's like they can't just immediately do that, but it's like, still, you know what I mean? Like, nowadays, that type of shit wouldn't fly. If Popeyes was in that episode, then why wouldn't they just eat Popeyes spinach and beat the living shit out of those dummies? I don't know, bro. Like, that's a good point if the Popeye shit was in the episode. But with all seriousness, right, I liked it. I don't know if I like this one more because of the whole stuff with Jimmy. Because Jimmy, like, Slappy actually going to 2 different families, right? Like, from 2 different types of people. Like, one loner and then a whole family fucking with two groups of people instead of just one. It's like Slappy had potential to actually have a fourth episode. You know what I mean? A fourth episode dedicated to him. That isn't just Night of the Living Dummy 3 in 2 parts. You know what I mean? Like, we actually have a fourth one. Night of the Living Dummy 4. But I get it why they ended it at Bride of the Living Dummy and him possessing a kid. So it's like, it kind of gives you the idea that, yes, he can possess people. What else do you want him to do? You know what I mean? Like, conjure up lightning and be able to run at super speeds and be superhuman and murk like Chucky and Jason or something. It's like, nah, man, we're just going to end it here with this ending where he possessed a kid. Again, the freakiest thing I've seen. And I don't even know how that family is going to get that Slappy out of him. I think Slappy actually won in this one, in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, I think Slappy actually won. He like lost and then kind of had like a comeback story in this one. It was weird. Like a comeback. Like, hey, I'm back, but actually in a human body. What the hell are y'all going to do? I mean, it's like they can all jump the kid and probably beat him up so bad in Minecraft to the point that Slappy gets out of the body because he feels all the pain and all these new feelings. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But overall, I thought this episode was like an easy, maybe like 7 as well. Like, I think they're all like around the same rating in my opinion. Like 7.5 out of 10. I don't think each of these episodes are perfect. They all had their flaws that made me kind of just look back at these episodes and be kind of like, they're good, but there's a lot of parts where I disagree with, or there's a lot of parts where I'm like, this should have been sped up. I don't know why Slappy is kind of delaying the whole thing. We get it. He has more abilities than these human characters. And it's like, you keep doing shit, but you're not doing shit. You know what I mean? Type beat. Like, you keep doing shit, but you're not doing anything, essentially, like, the whole episode. It's just Slappy scaring them and making them run around the whole time. And I know. That's just how it was back then, you know. You know, with old Goosebumps, you know. They didn't really have, like, the budget to do anything crazy. And when they did, it was, like, for special effects, like the eyes, when Slappy becomes a ghost, or the goo, or anything that's, like, particle special effects. It's like they had to save it for that. And be smart with camera angling and so on and so forth, just to save their budget, which makes sense. But yeah, like, after watching all 3 of these episodes, again, for the first time in years, that is not nostalgia-based. You know, these are based off my new opinions. What I just talked about were all based off how I feel about these episodes now. It's just, it was good. It was good going back to Night of the Living Dummy, because now after rewatching the older version of the old live adaptation Slappy, by the way, Slappy is back, I think, in Goosebumps 2023, 2024. It's confusing, and honestly, I don't know if I'm going to watch that, but I don't know. But I thought it was fun going back and watching these, not with, well, sort of with you guys, to get you guys the idea of what the episode's about. And just kind of talking about them, because I never got to express my love for Goosebumps and Slappy as a character and why I love them. I love him because he fucks around so much. That's also why I hate him too, is he fucks around so much, he doesn't get the job done. But his voice, you know, is funny. His abilities fucking freak me out, and you know, he just had entertaining episodes. You know, something that made me actually sit through and watch him all the way to the end. BRB, I'm back to you all. Hello, hello, Lord Draco. How you doing? But anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm probably gonna, like, let my iPhone take a break for a little bit, because we streamed a lot, yesterday. And I'm thinking maybe taking, like, an hour or 2 break before we do, like, another stream, because I know I'm supposed to be doing, like, 3 streams a day. Some shit, but I don't know what my iPhone's at, and I'm gonna let it charge up, let it cool off before I do Shantae again, because I want to do Shantae again with you guys at a later date. Just give me a little bit, and because uploads are gonna be kind of slow, so for today anyway, mainly because, you know, there's a Nintendo showcase I need to watch, and I need to see what the hell was in it, and maybe talk about that, make a short about that or something. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my experience with OG Slappy episodes or my experience with Slappy episodes and OG Goosebumps. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends. Let me know out of these 3 Slappy episodes was your favorite, or 4 episodes, since Night of Living Dummy 3 is 2 episodes, like a split type deal. But still, let me know what your favorite episode is, and yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day.